Okay, hello guys and welcome back to Chris Flies Planes. Chris here of course, and today we are back in part 2 of our world tour. So our first part of the world tour was flying from RAF Lucas in Scotland over to Vagar Airport, which is in the Faroe Islands, to the north of Scotland. We flew that in FSX, but as I mentioned in a video, even my last video of a video before that, we were going to be switching over to XP10, just because it seems to run nicer. In my opinion, it looks a lot better. And it's just a newer simulator, so hopefully it's going to work out well for us. So as you can see, we're flying the F-22 Raptor today. Let's jump into the cockpit. The cockpit is a little bit more basic than the F-22 Raptor, the Iris Raptor, which is the payware for FSX. But nonetheless, it all works. We've got this nice little front-facing camera here. And the weapon systems works. Not that we'll be testing them in this video, but we will do a video on that later. So, as I said, we're at Vagar Airport in the Faroe Islands, and today we'll be flying over to Reykjavik, which is, I believe, is about 160 nautical miles. Let's just get our flight plan loaded. I wish it showed some details about that. Let's get that loaded for the map down here. And we're tuned for ATC, so let's file the flight plan. So we are going from EKVG over to BRIK, and we're going to be flying at a height of 25,000 feet. Let's drop that down to 0 to make life easy for us. Let's get that filed, and let's request our taxi clearance. And let's request our taxi. Okay. Oh my god. Give me a chance to respond, buddy. Alright, so let's get rolling. So one of the differences in X-Plane is it does do the taxi line as standard. Another thing which is different actually is it automatically files you to fly IFR, which is Instrument Flight Rules, as opposed to FSX, which will let you do IFR or VFR, and it lets you do flight following and stuff. So the ATC in X-Plane 10 is a little bit more basic. I'm going to look at some of the available plugins for this. It would be really great to find a plugin similar to FSX where I can do voice recognition and actually speak to ATC. I feel like that kind of ramps up the realism a little bit, gives me something a little bit more to do, and hopefully makes my videos a little bit more interesting for you guys. And speaking about my videos, apologies to everybody for the delay in releasing videos recently. There's a few factors at play. Work has been super busy. I had to lose a couple of members of staff recently and rehire and retrain. On top of that, I had to reset my computer because it was getting all bloated and full and crappy. And also, my girlfriend has been away for 3.5 weeks in Peru and got back very recently. It's been my first opportunity to see her, so obviously I wanted to see her. So yeah, lots of excuses, I know, but what can we do? Right. Should get our taxi clearance. We just nose up here. Okay, let's just nudge forward a little bit. The ATC can be a little bit delicate sometimes here. And there we go. Just gonna check something in my controls very, very quickly, guys. Quite like a general command, like an enter button, would be absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna have a very, very quick look here. I don't know. It'd be really nice to be able to select one of the ATC rules without having to reach over to my keyboard. But I'll have a look at that when I'm not recording. Alright, so we're just going to taxi actually along the runway here. I'm not sure if this is really a very kosher thing to do, but we need to take off from runway 30, and we have taxied. We've been told, more importantly, to taxi into the middle of the runway. So actually, we've got a little taxi mark down the side of the runway here, so let's just roll along. ATC's not waiting for anything. Okay. So if you do register a key to contact ATC, that also functions as an enter key when you're on the ATC screen. So that's good to know. Just trying to bring our speed down under control here. We're going a little bit fast. This game is a little bit more delicate in terms of speeding and braking and turning and stuff, so the plane will very, very easily skid and roll, which obviously is something we definitely want to avoid. So we're approaching the end of the runway here. It's interesting how the runway is extremely bumpy. I imagine that this is not the case in real life. I'm going to try and get some of the HD meshes running on this game, probably when I... Slow. Probably when I get my GTX 1070 and I have a little bit more wiggle room in terms of graphical control. But anyway, we're at the end of the runway here, so let's get her turned round and lined up, and we should be ready for our takeoff. Come on. Come on, baby. Alright, let's just roll into a takeoff here. I'm not overly concerned. This plane is exceptionally easy to fly. Okay, full power. Going to rotate it probably around 160. And positive rate of climb and gear up. So just going to fly by hand initially, guys. Okay, apparently we have no ATC, and honestly I don't care. This is the second time I've attempted this flight with ATC. We had clearance there. We taxied correctly, and I have no idea what happened. So fuck them with their stupid little games. As far as I'm concerned. Gotta ask yourself, what would ATC think about this, eh? Flying an F-22 Raptor, tin a red stripe. How do you feel about that, ATC? Does that violate your rules? Speaking of happy feet, our esteemed and respected wingman has just passed his real-life air law exam, which means he is dangerously close to doing his first solo flight. So I'm super excited for him, and obviously super jealous. But yeah, that's pretty epic. So anyway, guys, we're climbing up from Vagar now. Just leaving the Faroe Islands. I think we can probably have a look down and see. Maybe not. Just leaving the Faroe Islands. We've climbed above the cloud cover, and we're going to climb up to 25,000 feet and put it in a cruise. And then, as always, I'm going to do a little bit of a cinematic for you guys, just to pass the time as we're flying in cruise, until we get down towards Iceland. So, we're approaching up 22,000 now. Flight level 22230 now. 240, and let's start leveling her out. And that's 250 or closest, damn it. So let's hold her there. See if I can remember how I've got. There we go. That's our heading aligned. So let's lock in our heading and throttle her back down to probably 69. Let's put her up to 70. We don't keep on 69. We're not children, you know. And yeah. So we've just dipped below the speed of sound, but honestly, there's no reason for us to be going more than Mach 1 at this point. We are not doing any sort of intercept or anything. Gear is up. Everything is set fine. Let's check our fuel rate quickly. See our fuel rate, our range is 449 nautical miles, which is obviously more than enough for what we're doing. So guys, I'm going to leave you here to sit back and relax. We're going to have some music on from the fantastic guys at Astronoids. And I will see you guys when we are a little bit close to Reykjavik Airport. Thank you very much. Okay guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little musical interlude there from Astronoid as we flew over from the Faroe Islands to Reykjavik. So we are just over the we're just over Iceland now. You can see just out of our right window here, this beautiful terrain. I'm not going to do a fly around the island right now because honestly this video is running on a bit and I don't have too much time. But for the next World Tour video, we'll do a little bit of an Iceland tour before heading off to our next destination, which I believe will be Greenland. So just going to get back on our flight plan now, and this is probably going to be about right there. And let's actually just knock autopilot off, and let's fly in by hand at this point. Okay, so Reykjavik Airport should just be off our nose here, guys. We're going to do like a little manual landing. I don't have too much experience landing the F-22 Raptor, so do bear that in mind. And also, you know, chances are it's going to be a fairly standard Chris Flies Planes landing. So we'll just see how it goes, I guess. Okay, let's just get ourselves a little turn now to get ourselves back on flight path. And nose back down, we're just passing flight level 150. Once we head through these clouds, we should be in much better position to see where we're going here. I'm actually going to pull our spree bake on just one notch here, just to really try and get the speed down. We're in quite a deep dive here. And as we get down towards where we want to be, we'll then start extending flaps and getting ourselves in the right configuration for landing. Okay, so that's going to start nosing up through the clouds here, because I've done this too many times to know what's going to happen. Come on, come on. Okay, there we go. It's going to flaps down, and we're going to air brakes Hopefully that's air brakes up. So our flight level there, still at 4,500. It's going to be a dip down to around probably 2,000 feet. And probably at that point dumper in autopilot. Passing 3,000, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, and autopilot hold. Let's see if autopilot's going to behave. Autopilot can get a little bit dodgy when we're down low. Let's actually just adjust our heading ever so slightly here and go into heading hold as well. And we can probably... So the throttle in this plane is extremely sensitive, I notice. I'm at basically 10% throttle right now. So it's definitely not kind of accurate to the mapping. You see we're about 28% and I'm literally throttled down. So we're just going to hold her there and fly her in a misheading. And we'll do a quick pass over of the airport. Maybe actually let's just have a zoom in here. See if we can see the airport. You know what, guys? I think we're going to come straight in here. As I said, it's been a pretty long flight. And I'm going to actually fly her in on autopilot. We'll just do the initial flying on autopilot. Okay, let's get it leveled out, and we're going to now put a background. Just get our view nice and lined up here, and get ready. So we can go gear down at this point. And let's go autopilot off. Flaps down, let's get a little bit of power back on just when we go flaps. And let's go second stage of flaps. And okay, the full flaps, gear is down. And let's just fly her in by eye now. Keep our nose off to the right of the runway here to get ourselves nice and lined up. And let's start. We're just going to yaw her in here. Nice, calm, controlled. Okay. Nicely lined up here. Probably get a little bit more lined up here. Pappies are showing 2 whites, 2 reds, which is a good sign. We're going to throttle up a little bit here. We're coming down maybe a little bit too fast. Just confirm wheel brakes are off. And start throttling her back. Keep her nice and lined up. It's not going to be a centerline landing, but it's me. It's never a centerline landing. Start flaring her up and throttle off completely. And it's not slowing down.